Okay, so we're kind of back into the Brightspace of Graphic Design 350. And so I have that first walkthrough video here posted in the announcements, which you'll see when you come in. And then I'm going to make the second one, which will kind of walk us through our first project. So let me see where that's at. Here we go. So this might end up like slightly changing. I will have the due date in there. I'll have the due date of the thumbnails and rough draft in there. So you'll have to click on the PDF and open it up, and that'll be in week 1 because I want us to get started on our thumbnails right away. So make sure you actually open this up and get the due date, and the due date of the thumbnails will probably be lab of week 2. But just make sure you come in here and actually check it out yourself so you can actually get those due dates. I haven't quite figured that out yet. So the project description, for this project, we will be constructing an 11 by 17, either landscape or portrait poster, and a 3 foot by 6 foot landscape vinyl banner. Both will be in full color, and it will be advertising the graphic design program here at MSUN. They will be constructed using Adobe InDesign, and please remember to include a 1/8 inch bleed on your banner. A bleed is not necessary on the poster, although if you want to include one, you can. It's just going to be difficult to print an 11 by 17 poster with a banner on it, or with a bleed on it. So the poster and banner should have the same look and feel. This is important for establishing an advertising campaign, and I did kind of put a link in here that you can click on. We kind of cover what an advertising campaign is, so that if you are confused about what exactly that is, it'll kind of help explain that to you. And then the purpose of the poster and the banner are to establish a brand for the graphic design program and to help the recruitment of students into the program. So please design with this in mind. And then for this project, I want you to choose a style from the past as your design inspiration. So we just, supposedly we just got done watching all of those videos, and you took your quizzes, hopefully. But, we went through all of the eras of different design. And so I kind of want to tie that into this project by having you pick a style from the past, or maybe even, now, which is basically the digital age. It can be a modern poster too. It just kind of depends, a contemporary poster, I should say. It just depends on what you want to do, but you have to choose a style that you believe you're capable of reconstructing using your own artistic abilities, so drawing and painting, a MacBook computer, and Adobe software. So, if you're really good at drawing and you want to hand draw like a picture of a woman, kind of like the arts and crafts movement did, with text around her, then, drawing is going to be, the arts and crafts movement is really going to lend itself well as a style to your own ability, because you can draw really well. If you're not as good at drawing, like, I would suggest going with like maybe the Bauhaus style, because they use, photography, a little bit of photography, and or at least, photography looking things. It might not actually be straight up photography, but and then they use like color and text a lot. So there's not a lot of actual like hand-drawn stuff in that. So it just kind of depends. You need to choose a style that you think will work for you. And at least one element of your design should be a piece of your own hand-done artwork. So, this can be a painting, a drawing, photography, scanning pieces of nature in, and then turning them into some sort of pattern. So like, say you really like this flower or this leaf. It's got an interesting shape. You scan that into the computer, and you take that and you mess around with that, and you make that part of your design. That is something that you kind of made from scratch. Because I'm trying to get you guys to realize that you can't always just pull stuff off the internet and use it in your designs and just call it your own. I want you guys to be thinking about using a combination of, maybe stock images, maybe your own photography, maybe some of your own drawings, maybe some other people's work that you've manipulated enough to where you can't really recognize it's someone else's, and making a poster from that. So making sure that you can construct a poster using all of those types of elements. You can draw using the tools like the pen tool in InDesign, which is, constructing it from scratch in its own way. It's just in the computer. You can also still recycle elements of designs from posters and art that are considered public domain. So you might need to Google a particular piece that you're looking at and make sure it's in the public domain. And then I don't want you to just take the whole thing as a whole and use it. I want you to take maybe a chunk of it, clip it out in Photoshop, use that, bring that into InDesign, and then combine that with, other elements such as, using the pen tool. So I really want you thinking about ways that you can construct your poster that are not just taking somebody else's stuff and repurposing it. Or if you are going to take it, repurpose it in a way that is respectful to the original artist and not just basically a rip-off of what they did. And there's ways of doing that. And so I've kind of touched on, I want you to, and by recycle, I mean you can recycle elements of previous public domain designs. This does not mean you can take artwork from the past and slap some font over it and call it yours. Before you start your design, we will discuss your ideas on a personal basis to make sure it fits the criteria outlined in this project description. So, whatever design ideas you have, wherever you want to borrow from, whatever you want to create from scratch, we will be discussing in detail on a one-on-one basis. I think there's probably only going to be 6 or 7 students in this course, so we should have plenty of time to meet one-on-one and figure out what makes sense for you but I do want you to come to the table with thumbnails and ideas on how you want to execute your design. So here's the process. Choose a style to emulate, so whichever style you think that you can execute. Gather inspiration and ideas, so kind of go online, go through magazines, do whatever you need to do to find elements that you're wanting to use. And then I want you to do 3 thumbnails of both the poster and the banner, so there'll be 6 total thumbnails. And then we will have a discussion about your ideas. And then I want a rough draft of your best thumbnail ideas. So 1 rough draft of a banner and 1 rough draft of your poster. And then we'll start with the construction of the poster first. And then after the poster is done, we will construct the banner using the poster design as a template. And then we'll print the poster on an 11 by 17 piece of paper in CMYK, so that'll be full color. Print the banner on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper in CMYK. And you'll have to fit to size when printing, because the banner is, 3 feet by 6 feet. So you'll have to, shrink it down and make sure you preserve your proportions when you print it. And you can talk to the printer here on campus. You're going to have to be going to probably the printer here on campus that's in Cowan, just down the hall from room 112. I believe it's on the east side of the Cowan on the first floor, just down the hall from our Mac lab. So you'll have to go during business hours and get your stuff, ready for print when it's due. And then I want you to create zip files that include the InDesign files, files, fonts, images, and links. I want you to upload the zip file into the assignments area in Brightspace on, the date that is to be determined. Please check back in Brightspace and look at, to make sure you know what date. Turn in your thumbnails, rough drafts, printed paper, and your printed projects to me in lab on such and such date. Please check back, and I will be posting those dates here soon. We will hold critique on all posters and banners in lab, so we'll be going through everybody's stuff, working from your printed projects. And I'll walk you through the ordering process for banners, and posters can be easily printed in town on most printers, so we won't have to cover how to produce those. You just need to go to the printer on campus and ask them to print up your poster on an 11 by 17 and tell them it's sized for that. And they should be able to pull that off for you pretty easily. You can also go to Florence. They're downtown, Florence Printing. There might be a couple other places in town to do it. And if you have a nice printer or color printer at home, or you have access to a color printer at your work that can print on tabloid size paper, 11 by 17 paper, then go ahead and use that. You can choose to use nicer paper. Like if you really want to put it on like some glossy paper or some thicker paper, like I encourage you to do that, because that's going to probably help your grade than turning in some wrinkly kind of crappy piece of paper to me with your poster printed on. So yeah. Also, I want you guys, please remember to use high quality images. So at least 300 DPI or higher. And I can go over that in class, like to show you how to make sure that you're using high enough quality images. Or maybe I'll make a separate video for that. But we need to make sure moving forward in this class that you are using high quality images. I don't want to see any pixelation in your poster. So yeah, that is going to be our first project. So I will save that. And I will be posting this in Brightspace in the content area of week 1, probably at the bottom of all the videos and quizzes that we're going to be taking. So just stay updated. Just keep that in mind. And I will add it to the calendar so that you have the dates. But I just wanted to walk you through the first project, and it's still kind of a little bit in process. But anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.